One card on the bottom for Dave, a mull to 6, and we're ready to go. Blue to Delta correct. To start us off, we will see another Goif. Another Goif is a legacy staple for sure.
Hang on, let me guess. It's that pre-game type thing where you have like 4 of them in your hand or whatever.
Ancient Tomb for Rockford. Vexing Bauble. Vexing Bauble. Nether Goif. MH3 has made its impact on Legacy for sure. How are we feeling about MH3's impact on Legacy specifically? I know other people play. People have stuff to say about Modern and Commander and its effect on that. But for Legacy, has MH3 been a positive or a negative? How's everybody feeling about that?
It was literally Trevor.
Grindstone on the table. Grindstone Painter, of course, is the combo. Blue to Delta correct.
Hey, did you win? Yeah, and that's it. It's alright. Studying and all that is never fun.
Traz says, I am in the minority in that I love the MH sets. I know they can do horrible things, but at the same time, it's better than finding 3 cards a year from Standard. You know what, Traz? Maybe this is a hot take, but I don't think you're in the minority. I think you're actually in the majority. We've had 3 Modern Horizon sets at this point, plus they add like Lord of the Rings and Assassin's Creed to Modern. There are more than enough people who like these sets that they're continuing to do it. If people really hated Modern Horizon sets and they sold badly and everybody like just rejected the whole thing, I think there's like this mentality like, oh, they're shoving Modern Horizons down our throats. No, they're not. It's popular. You just don't hang out with people that like it. The majority of Magic players like them. Maybe that's one of my hot takes. I don't know. Mr. Arch says Urza's Saga is one of the most mechanically interesting cards they've ever printed, and it made me forgive a lot of MH sins. Yeah, Urza's Saga is great. Urza's Saga is such a terrific card.
I'm going to go to 19. Yep.
Pay attention, though. Painter and Grindstone are on the board. Dave Kaplan could be in trouble. Vexing Bauble, protecting everything. Chili pointing it out perfectly. Quoting Magic players, I hate MH sets, I just buy the packs because I want the cards. Yeah, exactly.
Kind of funny, yeah. No, that would have been sick. Oh, it's not that funny.
Side Norna says the only cards that MH3 added to Legacy that I think made Legacy more interesting is the Goifs and Consigned to Memory. I mean, I agree that those cards were awesome for Legacy. I think there's other stuff, too, that you're forgetting, Side Norna. At least in my opinion. Planner Nexus, really cool. I like sewing Mikaspawn and the new Eldrazi. I think making Eldrazi a deck in Legacy is good. Tameo is awesome. The Felia and White Orchid Phantom, those white cards, excellent. Ajani, excellent.
I'm going to pass
Okay, we're seeing an attack with Nethergoyf and Psychic Frog. If Kaplan realizes that the combo is on the board, Painter Servant plus Grindstone, gonna need to do something about it. I believe Rockford has declared no blocks at this point. Discarding a Force of Will. Force of Will kind of shut off by Vexing Bauble. And an attack comes in. Rockford drops to 10.
So everything's moved.
Yep.
Okay. K command you for 0.
Yeah.
Thank you, draw.
That's what I wanted to play around. Like, I could have waited one more turn, but. Review.
Okay, Painter Grindstone. Fatal push on the Painter. Gets Power Blasted. Rockford takes game 1. Everything's blue.
How many cards left is there?
Lotus, Cavern, Season Dungeon.
If there are decks that can win on a multi-4, Painter is one of them.
Good to go.
Verdant Catacombs to start the game. Getting cracked by Dave. Gets an Underground Sea.
Oh,
It's all
yeah.
but from this guy, it seems.
Yeah. So you don't really get the trigger twice.
I've been trying to get better with these.
I think that is what they intended to do. That is very true.
Try to waste the edge mace.
All right. Rockford takes the first turn. Just a basic mountain pass the turn. Dave Kaplan's deck does not have Metamorphosis Fanatic and Atraxa and all that stuff. All right, I'll pause that for a moment. Thoughtseize resolving here. Simian Spirit Guide, Magus of the Moon, Goblin Engineer, and Urza's Saga. Some problematic cards in hand for sure. Thoughtseize obviously can't take Urza's Saga, or I'm sure Dave would love to take it. Goblin Engineer, Magus of the Moon, both can be problematic. Simian Spirit Guide, unlikely to be the pick. Depending on what's in Dave's hand, if Dave's hand has, for example, just for example, Basic Island and Basic Swamp, maybe the Magus of the Moon isn't a concern. That sort of thing. I think Goblin Engineer might be the pick if I'm just going to take a wild guess what Dave could go for here. Okay, it'll be the Magus of the Moon. Because fetch lands could find the basics, and Rockford's unlikely to drop Urza's Saga into Moon because Urza's Saga would die. All right, so Dave had a basic island, so that's interesting. It was just floating in hand. I know it wasn't MH3, but Goblin Engineer, another one of the Vexing Bauble was a good draw. Goblin Engineer, another one of the Modern Horizons cards that I think have been excellent for Legacy. All right, Goblin Engineer gets played after the Consign to Memory on Vexing Bauble. Phyrexian Dragon Engine goes into the trash. Phyrexian Dragon Engine, not a card that people think, if you ask people, name Legacy staples, I don't think Phyrexian Dragon Engine is one that comes to mind, but it is a Legacy staple at this point. It's a one of in nearly all of the Painter decks. If you want to build a Painter deck, you're going to need a copy of this card, most likely. And it's a cool card from, I believe, Brothers War. Wasteland on the Saga, that's a big play right there.
Like, the problem with that hand is that it was a one-lander, so I had to do the ponder first instead of running this out.
And it triggers it, like, sure, it's expensive when it's triggering the cascade token, but, like, sometimes you just can't attack.
Hunted game one, should have waited.
I've heard people say before, like, why is Urza's Saga a land? But if you're traveling through time, couldn't Urza's Saga time period be your destination? I don't know. Grafdigger's Cage and Nile Spellbomb. Psychic Frog on the table.
Yeah. So,
No artifacts to sack for Goblin Engineer to play with. Psychic Frog could be ready to attack. It will.
so like, I think I'm supposed to just leave.
Goblin Engineer will block.
Take out something else. Like, I have outs to the shop.
Discards a Brainstorm. Goblin Engineer will die.
I think I'm supposed to take out one more swords and put in.
I mean, the Multifor in this game had Rockford low on resources. I'm not sure chump blocking with Goblin Engineer to prevent a draw is worth it. There is, though, the Grafdigger's Cage and now Spellbomb on the table, so Goblin Engineer wasn't really going to do much anyway. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I had to think about it for a moment. Alright, another Goblin Engineer. Its ability will resolve.
The forward backhand was good enough.
Chili says, I think to call a card a staple has to be played in more than one kind of deck. Yeah, that makes sense. But I guess if you're going to expand the scope of what's considered staples a little bit, like cards you must own, I think Phyrexian Dragon Engine and Chaos Defiler also makes that list. Guess it depends on how large of a scope of cards you want to consider a staple. Yeah, it's an archetype staple, I guess I would say. Aviator putting it perfectly. Like, is Goblin Engineer a legacy staple? I would say so. It's not played in other decks.
When I play against Pablo when he's running draws, I hate having forces.
Is Delver a legacy staple? It's only played in one deck. I don't know. Stuff to think about. Null Rod. That's probably lights out here for Rockford. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. It does something if it resolves. Fetching a Polluted Delta. Hydroblast. It's countered. Rockford playing this out. Don't get me wrong. There could be plays in this game, like the next three draws for Rockford being like Painter, Pyroblast, and Grindstone, and Rockford wins. So it's not completely over. But we're getting close. Kaplan is in a confident position for sure. But Rockford still has a lot of life. The Psychic Frog doesn't deal that much damage. Scalding Tarn getting cracked. Another Underground Sea.
We're not gonna put a forward right, but everybody got a little different, but it's like, oh, it's a little bit of a secret. Right. And I had to forever play around the cards. Yeah.
Exile these.
Just two? Yeah. 16.
Okay, Psychic Frog swings for 2. Draws Kaplan a card. And another Psychic Frog.
It's Abyss.
Lotus Petal, shut off. Okay, Fatal Push takes out the Goblin Engineer on that step.
Oh, that would have been fantastic.
Okay, there's Delver of Secrets.
So that's the problem with this matchup is that people actually say it's a super watch matchup and nobody can reason like people don't believe me. I'm like, no. Matchup is
Make sure you take a look.
I agree. It's also not one question.
And you have how many?
Bill asking a big question: is Delver of Secrets back on the watch list? You know what, Bill? It should be, right? Ooh, Days on the Fury. All right. That Lotus Petal was actually shut off, so that was not a legal play. All right, neither player noticed it, so we're moving on.
Usually there's some matches where we don't care about the numbers, we do it. I read it. So I did.
Yeah, there is a null route on the table, so this Lotus Petal was used, but it wasn't allowed to be. This is a competitive REL event, but both players are in agreement at the current board state, so we're moving on. Attacking for 5, drawing 2 cards. Kaplan in a very advantaged position right now for sure. Now, Spell Bomb. Also currently shut off by Null Rod. All right, Rockford will scoop it up. We're moving on to game 3.
You need to do it 2 oracles. Consign one of them.
Looks like both players have taken a mulligan. That's what it looks like with the 2 D6s on the board, showing number 6. Let's see what happens. Rockford had a brutal mull to 4 in game 2. Hoping not to see something like that again. All right, so Rockford keeps 6, 1 card on the bottom. Monka, thank you for the resub, 55 months. Monka says, holy macaroni. Thanks, Monka. Say hello to Monka in the chat, everybody. All right, 1 card on the bottom for Kaplan as well. Both players have multi 6. Basic Mountain, Lotus Petal, Grindstone, pass the turn. Aviator, the only person in the chat that follows directions.
And then I'm gonna crack these 2 spawns and play
It would have been better if I didn't when I saw game 1.
2 a days.
Snaring Bridge. That could be difficult for Kaplan to fight through.
Show me the bullshit.
Snaring Bridge in these painter decks is so good because, it prevents attacks a lot of the time, and it also, with Welder and, alright, consigned to memory counters the Ensnaring Bridge. But what I was going to say was, with Goblin Welder, Goblin Engineer, they could just keep bringing the Ensnaring Bridge back if you destroy it. And just hold you off until they can combo. All right, Monka granting some people in the chat 3 months good fortune. The rest of you did not get that because you did not say hello to Monka in the chat like I asked you to. Here's Painter. Okay, consign to memory, counters it. Goblin Engineer could be pretty good. Goblin Engineer can wait for Grindstone to be activated, hold priority, swap it in the graveyard for Painter and win the game. So Goblin Engineer kind of allows Rockford to present the combo for the following turn. Would need an extra mana though. Phyrexian Dragon Engine into the graveyard again.
Alright, like Hero is like randomly like I don't know, was finding or whatever, you know. I think they could do it. Or the other thing is like some people play Ponder, 5, I just like Ponder.
I can feel myself.
Yeah.
Pete Sheep, thank you for the sub with Prime, 9 months. Appreciate that.
I've been really liking it.
That's a new badge.
This is gonna be. I apologize now. Saga.
I'm gonna get
Replicate.
kick it.
Scott says, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten hit by Dragon Engine because I keep thinking the Unearth is red-black 3. Nope, it's double red, double red.
I know, and you drew one or two barrels.
And I have Flesh Raker pings from both.
No, fuck you, Flesh Raker. I'm gonna consign that too. Fuck you.
Okay, Misty Rainforest gets correct. Underground Sea is found. Kaplan, no doubt aware that Goblin Engineer could help Rockford go for the combo on the following turn, and that will need to be addressed. And there is a Shoot the Sheriff to kill Goblin Engineer. Wow.
Because you're getting rid of this.
You're gonna do what?
I'm just gonna make it so that the next time this people don't combat it, because you're gonna
Yeah, it's prevented.
I like the idea of this guy. I might try that.
Spotted Nile Spellbomb, Delver on top of the deck, and a Fair Macabre. Goblin thinking about this Ponder. Rockford no longer on the verge of comboing, I guess. Okay, there's a Delver. Grindstone activated on end step. Let's see what we find. Now Spellbomb and Fair Macabre. I like that play from Rockford. Dave left some valuable stuff on top of the deck, and now they've been milled.
jump one. Yeah.
That was tight. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That'll resolve, I guess. Nope, maybe not.
You're in the.
I'll respond to brainstorm.
Those are
Okay, a brainstorm in response to Fable of the Mirror Breaker. The only thing about that Grindstone activation, though, is that Delver would not have flipped with Farrah Macabre or now Spellbomb, so maybe now Delver will flip. We'll see. Fable resolves. Goblin Shaman created.
I'm a decently fast player. I've been working on
Fatal Push revealed. Insectile Aberration attacking. It's Rockford down to 9. Fatal Push to Goblin Shaman. Waste Ancient Tomb. That was a big turn for Kaplan.
Not that much you can do.
You submitted, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fable and the Mirror Breaker about to hit Chapter 2. We'll see if Rockford discards any cards.
But I was just playing with my buddy Matt. We drove up here, paired each other.
Yeah.
I was
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Search.
Twitch chat hoping for land cycles to be completed. Discards a Fury to draw a card.
really talking. I was like, oh, it's hard.
You got it. I'll see.
Completely understanding what's going on.
I mean, it's fine if you play fast, like play fast. I just always feel like when I play controllers.
Fury pitching Fable. Trying to go after this Insectile Aberration, which presents a 3-turn clock.
Consign the trigger.
It's just like,
Okay, consigned to memory on the Fury ETB trigger.
if you have like, that's extra three, that's still like a fast clock where you're just like, yep. But I wouldn't be lying if I said
Fable and the Mirror Breaker will become reflections of Kiki Jiki. Nothing for it to copy right now. It's also summoning sick. Ooh, Painter. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Naming blue. Pass the turn. This is going to be tight. Shoot the Sheriff takes out Painter, though. Both of these deck lists are posted in our Discord server. Wasteland on Great Furnace. Feels like Kaplan has had a lot of disruption in this game. Red Elemental Blast, Hydro Blast. That is the game. Oh, boy. Tight. Well played. Good games. Kaplan got it.